Hello and welcome to the RK Football Podcast. It's season 4 or series 4, depending on where you're listening. And it's episode 2. There's 3 of us on the show today, as usual. I'm Kyle Dixon, joined actually in the studio this time. After last week, I was all on my lonesome. Matt Thowney's in Southampton with me in the studio. Matt.
Hello there.
And fortunately on Skype, we've got the returning David Newman from Ireland, which hopefully he's there on Skype.
I am indeed.
There we go. If I turn up his slider. So they've got 3 of us. There's no Matt Ty. Matt Ty's at a Green Day concert apparently, so screw you, Matt.
Trying to dig in already.
Graham Eyre is busy, and Stuart Irvine, unfortunately, is also very busy. We will get them on at some point, hopefully. During
really bad injuries at the moment.
Yeah, our physio room is so busy, guys. But we've got a couple of things that we want to speak about. Of course, Champions League is back next week. So we'll be doing a full sort of prediction a week early, because just in case we don't get a show done next week. I want to plug the new sort of feature going on with us at the minute. Matt Thowney was the first one to try it out with the YouTube videos. You saw his beautiful face. And for that one guy who keeps wanting face cams, there you go. You've got a cam. You're okay.
Took blooming 6 hours to load, but we got one
there in the end. We want to talk about Leicester as well. I know a lot of people have been speaking about Leicester, but yesterday Claudio Ranieri was given the dreaded vote of confidence. So it seems like his time may be coming up soon. They're playing tonight as of recording this against Derby in the Cup, so that may come into the conversation too, and a load of other things. I mean, we will start with Leicester. If they lose tonight against Derby in the Cup, local rivals at home, could that be the blow? Could that be the blow that
final straw?
Yeah.
It certainly won't help. I think what they need, they just need a win. That's all, just to get their confidence back. I think they haven't scored a league goal in 2017. That's 5 matches, which is pretty shocking for them.
That's got to be the first time.
But I mean, having said that, if they were to lose, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I mean, all that really matters to them now is the league. All that really matters to Ranieri is the league. So I think the FA Cup is sort of peripheral to them, but definitely a win tomorrow would, get the confidence back going into the weekend.
Yeah, I think if they win tonight, that would be fantastic for them.
Yeah.
But they need to win convincingly.
Yeah.
If anything, do you know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. I think even a scrappy 1-0 win would be just as good as a 4-0. Any win.
2-1 or something like that, or 3-2, because that's not going to do them too much good, in my opinion.
See, the problem is, I know they're defending champions, and they did amazingly well last year, which they did. You know what I mean? Once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
But this is Leicester. This is where Leicester should be.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Well,
that's what it is. That's the fact that they did win the league last season skews the opinion of how they should be doing this season.
I think you'll find the fact that they had money to spend in the summer, and he didn't replace Conte, which is kind of an impossible job at the minute.
Yeah,
it is impossible.
The signings he's brought weren't very good.
I thought
the best
Musa
one's
would be
probably
a lot
been
better than he has been.
Sorry.
I was just saying Musa was was the one signing they made that I thought could really not improve the team, but keep them to the same levels that they had last season. But he's been in and out of the side. He's been terribly disappointing.
But the problem is when you make new signings, especially as Premier League champions, and it's been something that's suffered since 2009, I would say, with champions of England, is when you bring in the new signings for the next season, them signings have never really made an impact in the side, or they've not put too much pressure on the starting 11. Which has then resulted in them not winning the title the following season.
It's not just that, though. I mean, you've got... I know what you're saying about former champions and the signing's not working, but for Leicester to continue in the same sort of vein that they were last year and to continue to be a top 4 sort of squad, they had to sign world-class players straight away that were going to come in and literally make them a world-class sort of team.
But they were never going to be able to, because it was a fantasy.
I didn't think it was at all realistic that they would even maintain a Champions League status. Like, that league win was a once-off, and even I think if they were to finish even in the top 10 would be a massive achievement. And I think at the start of the season, Ranieri, in one of his kind of press conferences, said, someone asked him, what's your aim for this season? I think he said the same as last season. He just said 40 points. we just want to stay in this league and keep doing well. So, I mean, to say that they were going to be in the Champions League again was sort of a massive... it would be another massive overachievement.
They could still be in the Champions League next season. They are into the last 16.
Yeah.
But,
or last 32, whichever one it is.
But the problem is
16,
is that would you honestly have seen someone like, I don't know, Carvajal at Real Madrid consider going to Leicester?
That's my point.
No.
That's my point.
They would
You
never
tell these big Spanish and Portuguese stars, oh yeah, Leicester are coming in, you're going to play at the King Power Stadium. Don't get me wrong, great little stadium, but you are not going to get these world-class players go there. It's not going to happen.
No.
So there's no way that Leicester could have really progressed as a club.
I mean, their club record signing is someone, I'll be honest, I'd never heard of. Like,
who was it again?
The Sporting Lisbon striker,
Slimani.
Oh, Slimani.
He's probably the only
24
one.
million. I was thinking, no.
He's probably the only one that's actually performed okay, but
that's
only
the
in
thing.
the Champions League, not in the league.
But if you notice, and that's their most expensive signing. No one
Yeah.
else has though. Like Amati, he's been okay, but not brilliant.
I mean, I do think Ranieri went the wrong way with these summer signings. I personally, if I was him, I'd have looked at Premier League experienced winners. I'd have looked at the likes of the fringe, not fringe players, but players that aren't getting games at Chelsea, at Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, City. Do you know what I mean? The likes of Victor Moses, for example, who wasn't in the squad. I'd have gone for those sort of players.
Because we look how good he's been now. So,
but he's gone for these completely unknown players that only worked. It only worked for him once with Conte.
But the problem is, and what is it? I think a good player to have got in would have been someone like Jermaine Defoe.
Yeah.
Because he would have put so much pressure on Jamie Vardy, and either Jermaine Defoe would have carried on his goal scoring record that he has this season, or Jamie Vardy would have started playing well, and they would have both started scoring loads of goals.
Definitely.
A proven goal scorer, may have not won titles, but he's played in the Premier League for so many years and scored over 8 goals, you would say, every season. So
but
and it also comes down, I mean, as well as that, I mean, it was because they won the league. You know, they all would have questioned. Ranieri would have questioned like what they wanted to achieve this season, and a big indication would have been the players that he brought in. I think, judging by the players that he did bring in, he was planning on. He wanted to have a run in the Champions League or do well in the Champions League, maybe with the likes of Musa, who's got Champions League experience. So maybe he did sort of overlook the Premier League a small bit, with judging by the people that he brought in.
I don't think anyone can blame him for that, though. Leicester are never going to be in the Champions
League.
Oh, no,
yeah. But and they have done well in the Champions League. So,
it's just odd to see a side who done so well last season, like, to then just have such a decline.
Definitely. The whole Leicester story.
Like, I was expecting them, honestly, I predict beginning of the season, I think I said 10th, and they'll do well in the Champions League. They've done well in the Champions League, but they've not done well at all.
I didn't think they'd do as badly as they are doing. No. I didn't think they'd be winning games every week, but I thought they'd probably be. They'd be the sort of team that were hard to beat.
7 points per month.
Someone like Wes Morgan, who before the title-winning season was a hopeless centre-back and turned into a world beater for a year, and now he's gone back to a hopeless centre-back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Killing Mr. Harris.
I just don't get it. But the question is now, are they going to get relegated?
I think there's a massive chance. I think with this kind of vote of confidence that came from the owners yesterday for Ranieri, I think it split a lot of opinions as to whether or not it was a good idea. Personally, I don't think it was a great idea to come out publicly and say we're going to with the sort of unwavering support of Ranieri, because that means now that they're pretty much, the owners are pretty much saying we're going to be sticking with him whether or not we get relegated. And I mean, I don't know. I don't think, is that really a good idea? I mean, the fact that they did win the league last season, past form. Throughout this whole season, I've been thinking it would be crazy to get rid of Ranieri, even judging by how bad they've been. But I've sort of changed my opinion on it a small bit, because your past efforts, they hold some relevance, but they can't kind of solidify your position in a team if they're doing really bad. I think that has to come into it.
To be honest, I mean, at this point, I think the Leicester board have got to look at it and go, if we've got to keep Ranieri no matter what, is he the manager that if we go down can bring us straight back?
Bring it back and ball, yeah.
And I don't think he is. No, I'm with you, Matt.
No.
I don't think he is. Because if you look at his past record, he had a couple of good years at I say good years at Chelsea. They weren't massively good. They were okay. They were expected years.
I think they were good. I think they were a really good team. Like, he built on what Gianluca Vialli already done at Chelsea.
Yeah.
And done, I think, not amazingly well, but if we didn't get someone like Mourinho in, I still think we would have been in and around that position once Ranieri left.
So he did a fairly good. What I'm saying is, a league like the Championship, you have to have a fantastic season to get automatic promotion. You can't be a middle sort of team and scrape to automatic promotion anymore. Do you know what I mean? They can scrape a playoff and maybe go lucky, but you're taking a big chance on a manager.
But I think, what is it? We can blame Ranieri as much as we like, but at the end of the day, the ones that hold the fate in Leicester's hands is the players. At the end of the day, do I look at the Leicester side and see a player that could be their hero in the run-in at the end of the season? You look at all the teams below them. You've got Swansea, they've got Sigurdsson, Sunderland, Defoe. You go to Hull City, they did have Robert Snodgrass, but they've turned into more of a team now, and they're starting to pick up crucial points in the big games. Leicester, you look at them, last season you would have easily said Riyad Mahrez, Vardy, Wes Morgan, these type of players, but they've gone off the map completely. The only player I think that could save them, genuinely, is someone like Kasper Schmeichel.
Should I tell you who I actually worry for? Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough is sitting there at 15th. There's
6 points off now, I think.
No. Sunderland at bottom are on 19 points. Middlesbrough at 15th are on 21.
Yeah, I know.
There's 2 points for 6 teams.
Oh, of course,
But, what I'm saying is Middlesbrough have had what I'd consider a fairly decent season for them at this point. They haven't impressed like Burnley have, but
they've defended well at home.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? They've been hard to beat.
They've
not scored enough goals. I agree with that. What I'm saying is, if Middlesbrough go on a losing run of 3 or 4 games, all of a sudden they're in the bottom 3 and they're struggling.
I said at the beginning of the season they'll probably go down. I said in the last podcast as well, and it's because they're not scoring enough goals. There's not enough creativity in that team.
But even going up ahead of that, I mean, you've got Bournemouth 26 points.
They won't go down.
I don't know. 6 points with another 14 games to go. 6 points is nothing.
But there's something that
if they keep conceding, I mean, you never know.
That's true. That is true. But there's something that they've got which all of the teams below them haven't got, and that's goals in the team. They may be conceding goals, but they're scoring goals. I think the worrying thing for them would be if the opposition kept getting clean sheets, but they were conceding 3 goals. That's what would be worrying.
Another problem I'd say, another team I'd throw in there at this point, the last team, I don't think Southampton are fully out of it. 27 points.
Yeah,
no, I think they'll be okay.
I do think they'll be okay.
They're rotten form at the moment.
Yeah,
I think they'll be okay.
No, I do think they'll be okay. But if they don't start picking up wins in the league, they may drop to a point where you go, well, I don't know, you can't call it. Because if Hull wins their next 2 games and Southampton lose their next 2 games, Hull are a point behind them.
Yeah, and they're right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's anything. I know it's a cliche and everyone says every year it's the tightest relegation race ever, but this one could be the tightest if it goes
at the end of the day. The one thing that I think would be a shock for everyone, even though it was a fairy tale, I don't care what anyone says, even if it wasn't a fairy tale and they were that good, if Leicester go down, it would be one of the biggest shocks. Well, not one of the biggest, but it would be one of the big shocks of Premier League history.
Because
they would have been one of the first to go down after defending it. So that's a
Blackburn
big shock.
did it.
No, Blackburn stayed up. They stayed up and went down the following season.
I'd be surprised if Leicester did go down, but I know a lot of people did predict it at the start of the season. They did predict Leicester would go down.
Yeah, 5,000 to 1.
A lot of people did call it.
Sorry,
go on.
No, yeah, just to come back to Leicester for a moment. I think you're right. I think a lot of the sort of the onus has to come down to the players because they haven't been performing. But I mean, you look at how the entire team is underperforming. Which, you know, when you look at how good they were last season, there isn't one player in there that's reached the heights of how they, isn't playing as good as they were last season. You know, not one player. And I think that there's been reports of sort of players not being particularly happy with Ranieri, or kind of sort of arguments in the dressing room and on the training field. And I think those reports have to be given a little bit of weight, because if you compare that to Chelsea last season, when the entire team, they were the champions, but the entire team were underperforming. There wasn't one player playing well. And it turned out that there were a couple of rifts with the manager, and then eventually the manager left. So I think, like I said, there has to be some weight given to the reports that maybe the players are starting to kind of not believe in Ranieri anymore.
If you're Riyad Mahrez or you're Jamie Vardy, how I don't know, gutted are you at this point to go, I wish I never stuck with Leicester now?
I don't think they can be.
Mahrez would have been thinking that all season, especially.
He would have been, but I don't think Jamie Vardy can think that, because it's something I agree with. Harry Kane's a perfect example for this. First season, you score over 20 goals. That's a good season. You're good. You're a good striker. Sorry. Second season, he's actually a great striker. You do it for 3 seasons. That's world class. All of a sudden, Harry Kane's a world class striker. Jamie Vardy done it once.
Yeah, but if Jamie Vardy was at Arsenal this season, I think he'd score a lot more goals personally.
No, because he doesn't fit in their
He didn't. Well, how Arsenal are playing now, I'd say, with Walcott and you got Oxlade-Chamberlain, it's a pacey sort of front line. That's how.
But they didn't have that last season.
Well, no, I agree with that. But this is what I'm saying. Maybe Wenger looked at it and went, "This is what I'm going to," because he targeted Vardy all summer, didn't he?
But he had Welbeck anyway, so it's fine.
Mahrez.
Welbeck has played maybe 90 minutes this season.
Yeah. And scored 2 goals. So
that's true.
Mahrez in particular, you can tell he's just like.
He's been thinking all season, God, why didn't I just take him?
He wanted to go.
Especially with seeing Kante and how well he's doing with Chelsea. He's thinking like, I could have had that, but I wouldn't be in this situation.
30% of the earth.
He doesn't look like Mahrez doesn't look like he's tried all year. The best he's played was when he was at the Africa Cup of Nations for his country.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he cares about Leicester at all.
No.
Which is quite sad, really. Yeah. We'll move on because we were talking about Leicester for quite a long while, which we tend to waffle. We'll move on to a point that I'm just reading here from today, and it's quite a shocking one actually. The retirement of Philipp Lahm.
Yeah, apparently a massive shock to Bayern Munich.
Yeah, he hasn't told. By the sounds of it, he didn't tell the club.
Not at all. No.
How sucky is that?
Is he the greatest right back to ever grace German football? I'd say hands down.
Yeah. Certainly one of the best even German players,
would you say in the world?
I don't know because you got. I mean, just looking at say. Just 2 Brazil right backs. Carlos Alberto from the 70s, who scored that. You remember that stupidly good goal. He was one of the class right backs from the time. Apparently, I've never saw him play personally. Cafu, has got to be up there with a shout.
Yeah. I think in modern day, of the modern day, Lahm is certainly up there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Javier Zanetti.
I think Lahm was better than him.
Possibly, but he's got to be up there with. I think it comes down to a matter of opinion at this point.
But I mean, Philipp Lahm, obviously, I'm I watch the Premier League all the time, so and I barely ever watch Bundesliga, so I didn't really watch him on a regular occasion. But one thing you did pick up from him in the Champions League was a sense of solidarity. You knew for a fact every game he played, he would at least get an overall of.
You could depend on him.
A 7.
Definitely.
He always did everything right.
Yeah.
And what I like about Lahm, or what I liked about Lahm, it will be by the time the end of the season, is the fact that he isn't just a right back. He can play right wing back, centre midfield. He even can play centre back. He is he's a much better and German James Milner. Basically, he can play in a lot of positions and do them all very well. Yeah. It's a shame for German football because I don't think they've got anyone that can replace him because the Germany defence is not at the level.
What's it? You've got that Gunter coming through the academy the squad at Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah. And he could be a very good one, but at this point, I don't think could be as good as Lahm is.
But do you think he missed out on the opportunity to, in a sense, go abroad and win
And we're back. Sorry about that, guys. There was a minor technical difficulty where someone decided they wanted to interrupt our studio. Damn them, whoever they were. And by the time we got to the door, there was no one there. But we were saying, Philipp Lahm, German football. You brought up...
should he have really gone? Should he have taken the opportunity to go abroad and win more trophies? Because you look at his trophy cabinet and it's covered in German and European football. But I think it would have been nice to maybe have seen, I don't know, the La Liga in there or the Premier League. But was it? I don't know. Would it have been a good idea?
I don't know. I think he had a glittering career. I don't think he'll be too disappointed with how it's gone. I don't think he'll be thinking, "Oh, I should have moved abroad to kind of add more trophies to my cabinet." I think he'd be perfectly happy. He'll go down as one of the best German players. Especially if they're part of that World Cup winning side, which is starting to dwindle a small bit. With the likes of Klose and Schweinsteiger retiring.
I think you've got a point of. I understand what you're saying about would it have bettered him as a player?
Yeah.
But to compare it, looking at someone like Kyle Walker at Spurs right now, would you say that he's got to play in Spain, France, Germany or Italy by the end of his career to be considered a world-class right-back?
That is a fair point.
I expect him to stay in England the rest of his career.
But then how I see it, this is kind of how I look at it. Then you've got the debate of Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. How do a lot of people determine who's the better? And a lot of people say the reason why Ronaldo's better is because he showed it in the Premier League and La Liga.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to say that put Messi down into because he is one of the best I've ever seen, but Philipp Lahm may have been better in terms of around the world if he went to someone like Real Madrid, Chelsea, Manchester City, Man United, or even like Juventus.
I know he was linked. He was linked with Chelsea for a while during the late Mourinho, early Avram Grant years. For a while. He was never.
No, but I get what you're saying, Matthew, about that, about having moving abroad and maybe doing it in other countries. But I don't know. I don't think you have to prove your world class talent by sort of winning things in different countries. I think especially with Lahm, he is a world class player. I think the fact that he hasn't played anywhere else doesn't kind of take away from that in any way.
No.
Yeah,
but I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you look at Steven Gerrard as well.
Yeah.
For instance, like he was always at Liverpool. He may not have won the Premier League, but he's by far one of the greatest, arguably the greatest midfielder that's ever played in the Premier League. So it is one of those. Like it's always a room for debate. Should you go abroad? Shouldn't you? Like, but yeah.
There are a couple of more serious sort of stories that I wanted to mention, but there is one that's just caught my eye, which is the most hilarious thing I've ever heard, and it's on the same sort of note as retirements. Former Liverpool and France striker Djibril Cissé is retired today at the age of 35. Right? Yeah. But it's not funny because he's retired, not in the sense of, is he still playing? I thought he was always injured, but sort of thing. He now plans to focus on a career as a DJ, producer and pundit.
It's quite a span.
There's a bit of a right. Could you imagine Alan Hansen? Right, come on then, let's get the bass up. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't work. This is the same France striker that was blackmailed or did blackmail his France teammate or something like that with Valbuena. I can't remember who was blackmailing him over a sex tape.
I don't know. I don't know what to think of Djibril Cissé.
The BBC haven't mentioned that.
Was he a good striker? He could have been, but because of injuries, he was never really.
Djibril Cissé was the first player that I ever sort of watched in football that got one of those horrific injuries that you go, oh my god, sort of thing. Jones, the first sort of injury, and then I remember Eduardo particularly, but Djibril Cissé was one of the first ones. I think he will go down as a sort of notable name in Premier League history, whether he wants to or not. All I can remember is yellow hair and pace. That's it. Do you know what I mean?
Yellow, green. He had ginger for a bit at Hull City. No, QPR, sorry.
I totally forgot him playing for QPR. Oh yeah, because he had that stupid beard where he thought he was like 40 years old. So we'll move on to something a bit more serious. I want to talk about this Antoine Griezmann story that's come out. Obviously, he's been linked to Manchester United. for about 6,000 years, it seems. But he's sort of, there's this idea, and I don't think he's been quoted as saying it, but people close to him have sort of said he's not going to go to Manchester United because he needs Champions League football.
Yeah, I think there was a podcast on the BBC last night, and I think it was Andy Brazel was talking about how there were a couple of factors that may hinder his move to United. One of them was, the fact that United aren't guaranteed to get Champions League this season, and apparently he's someone who wants to play in the Champions League and he won't settle for anything less. Another reason that he said, which I found quite fascinating, I never even thought of, was it's almost impossible to kind of fit him and Pogba into the same team, because Griezmann likes to play in a 4-4-2. That's where he thrives. Whereas Pogba plays in a sort of a 4-3-3, a 4-2-3-1.
Telling me Pogba can't play in a 4-4-2?
He can't play in anything, to be fair.
Can't play in England, to be fair.
But I just find that kind of, because I find that kind of an interesting point to make. But I don't know. I still think if United do get into the Champions League, they'll definitely find some way to kind of get them both into the team.
I think personally, and I don't mean this any offence to you, David, because I know you're a United fan, but I think Griezmann at this point in his career is better than United at the moment. I think he could go to a. I'm not saying, of course, he wouldn't go to a Real Madrid, but a side like that, a Juventus like that. Maybe, Bayern Munich.
Juventus, yeah, I don't know. And it depends. Well, he doesn't seem like the kind of player who would be kind of too fussed about wages either. Because United could buy any player really, or sort of, they could offer any kind of wages. But I think if United do get Champions League, it'll definitely be a club that he'll consider.
Yeah.
And I think that they're not in talks, but I think his agent is sort of in sort of contact with United every so often to kind of trying to get that move kind of to push through.
But one quick thing. Say hypothetically, if Man United do not qualify for Champions League this season, that'll be another season they've been out of the Champions League. Yeah. And then say Antonio Griezmann does sign for Man United and Mourinho's still the manager. If they don't have another good season, like it gets to say December, January time, surely, and after all the money they've just spent, because Griezmann ain't going to be anything cheap, Mourinho's gone. If they have another bad season and he spends that much money on a player, they've got to win the title.
Yeah, I definitely, when he was appointed, I foresaw that he wouldn't be at the club for maybe 4 to 3 years. He's not a long-term manager, and I think if he goes 2-3 years without winning a major trophy or qualifying for the Champions League,
he'll be gone.
He'll be gone, definitely, yeah. And he will have spent hundreds and hundreds of millions. Obviously on Pogba alone, but other players as well, and Griezmann would be one of them as well. But
See, I think back to Griezmann in a way, but I think if Griezmann went to a side like United, he could end up like a Falcao, where if he went to a Bayern Munich, he could turn into one of the top 3 players in the world.
Well, you say end up like a Falcao. Falcao scored, I think, 20 goals this season for Monaco, so he's kind of bounced back in it.
I get that, but like, if he flops at Man United, his career will never reach the heights that it's at now again. Do you know what I mean?
I think
I can't really see that happening.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. Griezmann is a world-class player and can be one of the best players in the world. Once Messi and Ronaldo decide to stop hogging the Ballon d'Or and the FIFA award as well, but I do think that if United sign him on his contract, on Mourinho's contract, it's going to scream, you don't win the Champions League, you don't win the Premier League this season or win a tournament, you're gone, mate. That's it.
But at the same time, I think United this time, when Mourinho does go, which will be soon because it's Mourinho, they have to have the right replacement ready.
I think I don't even think I would put it past Ed Woodward. I think he'll already have a kind of fair idea. He'll have a kind of a plan for maybe the next 3-4 years if Mourinho does. When you hire Mourinho, you're already thinking, right, when he eventually leaves, who are we going to get in? I think they'll always have somewhat of a plan in place.
And I think the next manager has to be a long-term manager as well.
I think so too. Yeah.
But yeah, so You're saying he might join a small club, according to the Atletico president. He's called Man United a small club, which is,
in my opinion, I'm not a big fan of United. But that's a joke.
Yeah,
because they're the biggest club, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Yeah. So
I mean, in terms of sort of team stature in the world at the minute, they're probably a small team, so to speak.
That's probably what he means. Yeah.
But now they're as big as Real Madrid and Barcelona and Bayern Munich. So
I think United as well have brought in the most revenue for 2016. So officially, the richest club in the world. Yeah.
And about 70% of that was Chinese people buying Zlatan Ibrahimovic shirts.
Yeah. I think I read something as well where I think if United don't qualify for Champions League, we'll lose £85 million.
Can I do that?
We'll miss out on £85 million.
Can I do with that money? Just if they lose it, can they just somehow end up in Basildon?
We should move on to the Champions League, sort of speaking. What we'll do, because I know there's the Premier League this weekend, and obviously we do our predictions and whatnot. But I was thinking we can just look at the Champions League specifically on its own, go through the fixtures sort of thing, because it's been so long since the Champions League's actually been there. It feels like that.
Feels like ages.
Do you know what I mean? People need a refresher of the sort of games that are going to be there. So as soon as I load up Champions League fixtures, we'll go through them. Yeah, there we go. So it starts again this Tuesday on Valentine's Day, because seemingly UEFA hates any guys out there with a girlfriend that want to watch Champions League football, and it's like, yeah, we'll put it on Valentine's Day, so they're all screwed. And there are some tasty ties, particularly on the Tuesday. In Portugal, Benfica play Borussia Dortmund, which could be a great football tie, to be fair. Yeah. They're two sides that you wouldn't consider them favourites to win it. You wouldn't consider them favourites to get to the semis, if anything, at this point in the competition, with the squad that are there and the teams that are in the competition still. But they are dark horses at the same time.
They give everyone a run for their money. Yeah. Anyone. So it'll be an interesting encounter between these two teams.
On the same night, you've got two big heavyweights, so to speak. PSG, Barcelona. PSG may not be the same sort of heavyweight they was, but they're still the French champions versus the Spanish champions from last season. So that's one hell of a tie. We'll just run through them quickly. You've also got on the Wednesday Bayern Munich, Arsenal, because Arsenal,
we need an anniversary to celebrate.
Yeah. Do you reckon Arsenal have got their own sort of dressing room at the Allianz Arena now?
Do you remember what was it when the draw was done? Bayern Munich even took the mick out of it, because they were like, here we go.
And they went back to it a couple of weeks ago, and it's the FA Cup draw, and the Arsenal Twitter was like, and we'll let you know who we get in the draw, blah blah blah, in 3 minutes time, whatever. And Bayern just sort of tweeted them to say, is it us? Sort of thing, which was quite funny. Real Madrid, Napoli, which could be a tough tie for Real Madrid. Napoli,
I don't think it will be.
They should win it. Yes, they should win that match, but Napoli could cause them a problem at the same time.
Like who?
Just a Napoli squad.
Yeah, but honestly, in that squad, who stands out anymore?
No, I know what you're saying. They haven't got the standout squad,
and they just got rid of one of their best strikers.
Yeah, no, I totally get. I get what you're saying. But if Real Madrid are not at their best,
do Real Madrid have a few? I think Real Madrid have quite a few injuries at the moment. So I'm not sure who's going to be back for it. I think Bale, Modric, who else? I think Marcelo's out as well. I don't know. Are they all going to be back fresh for that match?
I couldn't tell.
I don't think Bale will. I think he's out until early March.
But yeah. Moving on to next week, the last 4 ties of the round, last 16, as you mentioned earlier. Bayer Leverkusen, Atletico Madrid, two sort of sides that aren't even in the best of forms in their own league at the minute, so they need a bounce back. Man City, Monaco, that's going to be a tough tie
Monaco
for City.
are a really good team, really good team.
And how much will United fans love it if Falcao scores a hat-trick to send City out?
It's written in the stars, I think.
FC Porto, Juve on the Wednesday the 22nd, that could be a hell of a good tie as well.
At
Porto,
it will be, but if they don't get a good result at Porto, like if it ends 0-0, say, then Juventus it'll be a landslide then.
And to wrap it up, Leicester City's European adventure continues away to 3-time UEFA Cup winners, Sevilla.
Oh yeah, I was thinking like, it says the name there. Why are you trying to guess the name?
I was trying to think of how many times they'd won it in a row. I'm pretty sure it's 3 years.
Yeah.
That'll be a hell of a tough time. So yeah, we'll run through it. Start. Benfica, Borussia Dortmund.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna go 1-0 Dortmund.
Yes, but I mean 1-0 Dortmund overall.
Oh, sorry, you want to go?
Yeah, might as well just go through it. Three of us.
Oh, God blimey, that's a bit of pressure. I'm just gonna say. Yeah, I'm going to go 1-0 Borussia Dortmund overall. Yeah.
Oh, so we're doing both legs, okay.
Yeah, might as well say who we think's going to go through. I'm not going to hold you to these predictions, but it's just a general topic.
Just come back to it later on to go. You were
I just want to get. I want to get. I mean, I know myself. I need to get my head around the Champions League again. So, yeah. PSG, Barcelona.
I
didn't get my prediction for Benfica Dortmund. Sorry.
Sorry.
This is why I was doing that.
I think Dortmund will go through. I think it'll be 4-1 on aggregate.
4-1.
He's a bit more entertaining than me, clearly.
I think it'll be a tougher tie than that, actually. I think Benfica will snatch it. An away goal at in Germany in the second leg and snatch it. That's my prediction. PSG Barcelona, first leg in France, second leg at the Nou Camp. It could go either one of two ways, really. I'm
going to say 3-3. Barcelona go through on the away goals.
I think by the time this match comes out, it'll depend wholly on. I think that the league. I think in the French league, the title race is heating up. I think there's only 3 points between the top 3 teams, so a lot will depend on how well PSG are doing.
And if Cavani wants to score,
you could say that PSG are not having a nice time in France this year.
No, well, not particularly. Jack has come in, he's done quite well, but
Cavani is the best striker in the world at this precise moment. His goal ratio is better than anyone else in Europe.
Yes,
but he scores when he wants to. That's the problem.
And I don't mean this in any offence to the French league, but if you stick Luis Suarez in that French league, I think he'd score
50 goals.
He'll score a ton.
Yeah, he scored.
But yeah, my prediction. I think it'll be 1-1 at Parc des Princes and then 2-0. So I think it'll be. I think Barca will go through 3-1.
Fair play.
Overall.
Fair play.
I don't know, It could either go one of two ways.
Really?
Well, yeah.
I mean, I think
there's 2 teams.
I think Barcelona are going to go through either way, but it'll either be a really close games, like close 2 games in a way where they nick it, or they're going to absolutely destroy them, and it'll be one of these 7-1 on aggregates.
I don't think they will get destroyed because at the Parc des Princes, PSG have always been a good team in the Champions League.
They can't defend.
They can't defend, but they seem to have done it against the likes of Chelsea, all these other teams. I think I'm not put down Barcelona's life because they are a brilliant team, one of the best in the world still. But when they go to the Nou Camp, that's when you're going to see the best Barcelona side.
Yeah.
So. Well, the last Champions League game PSG played was Ludogorets and they lost at the Parc des Princes. So I don't know. I think it can
go. They play well against the bigger teams, I think.
Thank you, David.
So Bayern Munich, Arsenal at the Allianz first, Emirates second.
Yeah, I think this will be a thumping. Sorry, do you mind if
I didn't think he liked Arsenal that much, to be fair.
Yeah, I think Bayern Munich will go through quite comfortably. 5-1 on aggregate.
He's giving them a goal. That's nice.
I'm gonna say an own goal.
I'm going to say the classic kind of scoreline from probably 2010 to 2013. Whenever they play a team, they'll lose 4-0 in the first leg, but they'll score 3, and Giroud will hit one just over the bar. It's like, here we go again.
Yeah. But Bayern are going to win 3-1 at home in the first leg, and then Arsenal are going to win 2-0 at home in the second leg. No.
1-0 in
1-0, yeah, not quite do it.
Yeah.
I'd love that. That'd be brilliant. Although I do kind of hope Wenger just goes for it.
Oh, he will. But but that's what he'll do in the first leg. That's why they get beat 4-0.
No, but I mean like proper goals. Could you imagine if Arsenal put in one of these world-beating performances and dump Bayern out?
And then go out to like Benfica in the last 8 or something.
Yeah, there we go.
Real Madrid, Napoli, as we sort of spoke on earlier, at Santiago Bernabeu, first. Napoli have to come out of that game.
I can't see him doing anything. I really can't.
No.
I'm gonna say 5-0 Real Madrid.
On aggregate, yeah.
Yeah, on aggregate. Oh yeah, no, the first leg's that one. no, on aggregate 5-0.
See, the problem is. Go on, David. Go on.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I think it'll be 4-1 on aggregate.
I think you guys have been harsh on Napoli, personally.
Okay, what scoreline would you go for? No, go on.
I think it'd be tighter than that because if Napoli come away with a draw from the Bernabeu, I'd put it as a maybe them not favourites, but they're in with a great shake 'cause they are hard to beat.
I mean, it was like the season Chelsea won the Champions League when we got a draw with
it was Napoli
when we got a 1-0 win against no, not that game.
No.
When we played Barcelona and we got a 1-0 win against Barcelona at the Stamford Bridge. That was an amazing result, and then we suddenly were in control of the tie. But this Napoli side have no one in it for me that's gonna score you that one goal that you think, yes, we've got control of this.
I'm gonna go 3-0 Real.
Oh right, yeah. And you said you give him a chance.
I think it'll be tighter than you think.
At least he gave him a goal.
Bayer Leverkusen, Atletico Madrid, as I said earlier, two sides not in the greatest of form. Atletico in particular having a horrible season, really. For
Leverkusen, did you see Leverkusen? I think it's their striker got a 4-month ban. For apparently he signed, I forget the player's name, but I think it is a striker. He signed a contract with Trabzonspor, the Turkish team, back in 2012 or something, and apparently he broke that and he got a 4-month ban. And I think he's been one of their best performing players. And he's out for the season.
Yeah. This is another one of those ties where the away goal could be so huge because there's not much in them. You'd say Atletico are probably the better side overall. But if Atletico don't put in the performance they can, then it's not hard for them to lose.
Bayer Leverkusen are a good side at home. I'm gonna say 1-1, and Bayer Leverkusen go through on penalties.
Ooh.
They have Germany. German teams are always good on penalties, apart from when they play Chelsea.
I think Atletico will go through. I think Atletico are one of the dark horses for the title, and I think I'm going to go with 1-1 in the first leg, and then Atletico to win
on penalties. Go on.
No, I'm going to say 1-0 Atletico at home.
Right.
So 2-1 in aggregate.
But what is it? It would be such a surprise, wouldn't it? Because it'd be the first season if they go into Champions League final, they're not actually doing well in the league for once. Every season they've done well in the league whenever they've gone Champions League final. So.
Because both of you have seemingly gone with penalties or extra sort of time, I'm going to go 2-0 Bayer Leverkusen aggregate. Screw it. Upset.
Wow.
Bring it on. Come on, Leverkusen. Actually, it feels wrong to be supporting a German team. We'll move on to Man City, Monaco. Two big, rich sides, so to speak. Moneybags versus moneybags.
One bad manager versus another bad manager.
Oh, shots fired. I think this game purely hinges on Falcao. If Falcao doesn't perform, Monaco haven't got a team, really.
They've got a great defence, though.
Yes.
There's no denying that. Everyone says that it's crucial to have a striker, but what did Monaco do to Arsenal a few years back? They knocked him out and they had the best defence in the entire competition. So,
but Bayer Leverkusen thumped them 3-0 in December.
But in my opinion, Monaco could go through simply by scoring a goal in each game, and that's it. Because as long as they keep good defence and someone like João Moutinho scores them a goal, they're through.
Is that your prediction then?
I'm not. No, because I do think Man City will go through. But it is a team that you can't write off. You just can't write them off, in my opinion.
No.
So.
I think they're the highest scorers in Europe. Monaco. I think they've gotten close to 70 league goals so far. I think they've been really potent. I think it'll be tough. I think Monaco will win the first leg. I think Monaco will win at City.
City.
I think it'll be 2-1 Monaco, and then I kind of fancy Monaco. I'm going to say 2-1 Monaco, and then 0-0 in the second leg.
I'm going to go for 2-1 Manchester City. And Kevin De Bruyne to get the winner in the last minute, get me some fantasy league points.
Yeah, I fancy City to go through just because their attacking prowess is better than Monaco's overall, really.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Will Aguero start? That's the question.
Or Jesus.
What is he registered for Champions League?
Or as every person says to try and make themselves a little bit Brazilian, is Jesus. Jesus.
I think he's quality, I do. Yeah, I fancy City to go through, but I don't think it'll be an easy game for them at all. FC Porto Juventus, which is the following week. We're into it by this point, obviously. Porto thumped Leicester 5-0 in their last Champions League game. Of course, Leicester didn't really turn up. But,
and they put out a really bad team.
Yeah. But if Porto win that opening leg at home...
Oh, they've got every chance in the world then.
It's going to be tough for Juve to get back into that.
But this thing is like I was saying earlier, if Porto get a good result at home, a win it has to be though, if they get a good result at home, then they've got a chance. If it ends 0-0, they're out.
Yeah.
Because they need goals going into that game.
I would say this, I think it was 2 years ago maybe at this stage in the competition, Porto beat Bayern Munich at home in the first leg. Beat them 2-0 at home. I mean, they lost the second leg like 5-1.
There we go.
Bayern were just unstoppable. But that Juve side isn't the same side that Bayern were then.
And they've also got a good
Yeah.
defence again.
Yeah.
Juventus have. So
it's
you would say, in a sense, that the manager at Juventus has done such a good job that there is no such thing as perfection, but it's close to perfection. That team with Higuain now joined, that he could leave now because he can't do any more. That's how good he got it. All he's got missing is the Champions League for him.
Yeah.
But this side, I think they'll steamroll all over this Porto side.
I think it's a chance. These ties could be a chance for someone like Dybala to really announce himself.
He's a good striker.
He's a good player, but he's not one of those players you go, oh yeah, he's
a
one of
world
the
beater.
best. But if he puts in a performance against Porto and drags them through on his own, if Juve don't really turn up, but he does, he turns himself into one of the best in these games.
Yeah, that's true.
What was your prediction?
I'm gonna say, I do think Porto will play well overall, but I'm going to say 3-0 Juventus.
Dave?
I think it'll be. See, I think it'll be quite easy for Juventus as well. I think it'll be one. I actually think it'll be 1-1 in the first leg. And at home, I think I'm right in saying Juventus have won all of their home league games this season.
Yes,
so,
they have. Yeah.
So I think it'll be. I think 4-1 Juventus overall.
Every single league game. Well, every single home game in 2016. Who does that? No one
it's mental.
I think it'll be close. I'm going to go Juve, but I'm rooting for Porto at the same time.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Every neutral fan wants a 4-4.
Yeah.
But can you see him scoring 4 goals? No.
I'm going to go 3-2 overall.
Oh, but you're going close.
On aggregate, though.
Yeah.
So, and the last one, Sevilla, Leicester City. The dream's got to die, hasn't it, guys?
I really hope Leicester do well here.
I do. I hope Leicester go through, but it ain't.
But one thing we've noticed with Leicester is that if they do well in the Champions League, they have an awful weekend in the Premier League. They do, don't they? It's an awful. It's like, so if you go through, it ain't going to help your Premier League form because you're still going to do badly by the looks of it.
Well, Leicester, it's the 22nd this game, and that weekend they play Liverpool on the Monday night.
Ooh.
There we go.
So,
but from my perspective, I do think Leicester will give Seville a game, and I'm going to go 1-0 Leicester overall.
Wow.
Quarterfinals of the Champions League for the Foxes.
I would love to see it. I would love to see Leicester go through the next round, but I don't think it'll happen. I think Sevilla are doing extremely well. I think they're second in Liga at the moment.
Third.
They're doing really well. Third, sorry. But I think they're still well in the mix for the title. I think it'll be 3-0 Sevilla, and then I think it'll be 4-0 Sevilla overall.
4-0 Sevilla.
I think
so.
so.
They are really good at home again.
Yeah.
Like
good
that's
in
another
Europe
side
as well.
And Leicester have been shocking.
As much as I want Leicester to go through, I can't see it happening.
No.
5-0 aggregate to Sevilla.
Come on, the Foxes.
I'd love
Jamie
to
Vardy.
be wrong. I would love to be wrong, but I can't see it
Jamie
happening.
Vardy with the WKD.
So obviously by that point we've said who we think are going through and whatnot. I'm not going to go back over it, but I want 2 finalists. Obviously it depends on draws, and I understand that. But if you could pick 2 sides that are going to go to the final from this point, who are you going to pick?
Well, you can't really say Barcelona, I don't think, because they've not done well in in La Liga. Real Madrid, they've done well, but then of the turn of the year they've not done as well as everyone thought they would. Bayern Munich, good shout. Again, no, they're playing teams in their league that you expect them to beat, and it's the same with Juventus again. So the big
you
teams,
don't expect a big team in the final?
Well, no, I do, but who do you pick out of them?
Yeah.
I would not rule out another Atletico Real final.
It
is very early, so you can't rule.
I know, yeah.
A hat trick of that final, yeah.
But I think Atletico will get to the final. I think they've been really, really good, and they've got one of the best defences in Europe, if not the best. I don't know. It's tough to say who'll meet them. There's a lot of teams the big teams who are doing well, but not as well as maybe they should, like Barcelona. Barcelona are arguably out of the title race. PSG aren't 20 points clear at the top of Ligue 1. Bayern Munich, they've been done well, but there's been sort of whispers of Carlo Ancelotti maybe not getting the love from the players that Pep did.
They're not running away with it either.
No, so I don't know. It's a tough one to call this year.
I think the teams I'm going to go for, Juventus, I think they're a side that at home they are going to be absolutely brilliant, and every pundit around the world is going to praise them. It's just away from home, they're always going to have that little scare, but I think they'll be a finalist. And I'm going to say, I don't think an English side's going to get there.
No.
I don't think an English side will. I don't think Leicester's going to pull off that miracle and actually get to the final. I'm going to go...
I think City could, depending on the draw.
But they've not got the team. Their defence is still shambolic.
Yeah.
I'm going to say... I'd love to see it. Real Madrid, solid. I'm going to say Real Madrid and Juventus. My 2.
I'd say Atletico, Juventus.
I think we're all going to go... I was going to go Juventus as well. All 3 of us are going Juve. I think it'd be Juve Bayern, personally.
What they got? What for you? What have Bayern got that they can... do you think it's Champions League experience?
I think Bayern have got one of the best all-round teams in the world, as in they've got the quality from back to front. Do you know what I mean? There's what would you say is a weak link in the Bayern squad?
They're right back.
Central defence, maybe.
They're right back, really.
Their midfield, the attack, the goalkeepers maybe a little bit.
Central defence I'd probably agree with, but then you've got, as I say, it's still one of the best central defences in the world, but that's their weakness. Do you know what I mean?
I don't see too much weakness, but it's, for me, the one weakness is, and I do say this honestly, it's a starting 11. It's like Leicester last season. If they got an injury, then it could have all fallen apart for Leicester. And it's the same with Bayern a little bit, but the only difference is they haven't got big teams from the word go in the Bundesliga.
We'll stay on the predictions, folks. We've got to get these Premier League predictions before we wrap up this weekend. So the early kick-off is at the Emirates. It's Arsenal versus Hull. Hull, of course, beat Liverpool last weekend. Arsenal stuttered, so to speak, at Chelsea, where they were really giving it a footballing lesson.
Stuttered. Have you ever seen a small violin? Like, it's getting... I think I've never known a team to do so well every single time the first half of the season and then always have the same outcome every time. You can predict their season all the time now, and it's getting ridiculous. But it's a topic for a debate another time.
No, but I would say Arsenal are just missing that one world-class player to really push them into a top position.
No, they're missing the leader. That's all they're missing.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And do you know, I think they've got him, but he's not going to be that leader for another few years.
Who?
Granit Xhaka. Honestly, he is the today's Patrick Vieira. You look how he plays.
He's a criminal.
No, is it? But listen, you look at how he plays. He's rough in the tackle.
What?
He's hard as nails, and that is what Arsenal have been missing for years. They've not had someone like that.
Arsenal are still missing him because he plays like 2 games a year because he's always suspended.
You know that is a fair point. But name me a player who does not that goes into the tackle and doesn't hold back all the time.
I get what you're saying.
This is what Arsenal have been missing.
If Granit Xhaka was playing 10, 14 years ago sort of time, and I'd say he'd be one of the best midfielders in the league.
And that's what I mean. This is what Arsenal have been missing. And then
this is 2017.
But the big teams in the Premier League have got him.
There's a big difference, I think, between having a bit of grit to your game, a bit of aggression, and just going out and getting sent off. I think he's got 9 red cards in 3 years. But he doesn't. I don't think it's something he doesn't seem to be able to rein in a lot.
So to be fair, right, that's 9 red cards in 3 years. Club football is right, and if you work it out, that's 27 league games he's missed through suspension in 3 years.
And I'm not denying that all these facts because I know it's true, but I'm saying in 2 years' time. I'm not saying this season. Yeah. Once he has that maturity in his game, he will be one of the best midfielders in the Premier League.
He has the potential to do that. I agree with that, definitely. So Arsenal-Hull is the early kick-off, as we say. Arsenal need to bounce back, but Hull are on a hell of a good sort of
They're doing great,
momentum. Yeah. If Hull win at least for an hour or so, they'll be at the bottom 3, which could help them a hell of a lot. If Arsenal lose this game, by the end of the evening, they could be sitting in 6th place.
Hilarious.
Fair play.
Depending on results at one.
Well, I'm going to say 2-0 Arsenal. Despite what I was saying, I still think they're going to win comfortably against.
I think Hull. I think it'll be 2-2. I think Hull will do really well. And I just noticed this morning, I just read that the last time Marco Silva played at the Emirates was with Olympiacos in the Champions League when he won. So, I don't know. Yeah, I think they'll get a draw. I think it'll be 2-2.
I don't know. I can't call it. I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal. Last minute winner like Arsenal do, where it's probably about 6,000 yards offside and he's punched the ball in, but the referee's just turned his head and decided to have a pushing match with Wenger. I feel so sorry for Burnley this season. Man United Watford is the first of the 3 o'clockers on my list, which says a lot about the away teams. Actually, they're all seemingly alphabetised. If United are going to be in the top 4, they have to win games like that.
Yeah.
Watford ain't going to be easy.
Yeah. Sorry.
At their ground, at
Old Trafford.
At Old Trafford, I think it will be easy though. So
yeah, I think 2-0 United.
I'm going to say 3-0 Man United. Go on, that one more. Go on.
3-1 United.
There we go.
I'm going to give it Middlesbrough Everton. Again, we were talking about Middlesbrough earlier. That's a home game for them. Everton stuffed Bournemouth last week, but are not consistent enough to say you wouldn't say they're going to have another really good game this weekend, because you never know what Everton side are going to turn up this season. I know they've gone on a good run lately, but still, if Middlesbrough are going to push themselves into the proper safety, it's a home game they have to win again, like United.
That's true. Yeah, no, I do agree with that, but I'm going to say 2-0 Everton. I still think that Everton have got the goals in them that Middlesbrough would really love right now. So I'm going to say 2-0.
Yeah, I'll say 2-0 as well.
Yeah, I'm actually clean slate 2-0.
Fair play.
Stoke City, Crystal Palace. Palace, it's just a sorry state of affairs at Palace. They were stuffed at home to Sunderland, 4-0 down at half time.
I think arguably, I know a lot of we say it's a lot about some teams, but I'm not going to lie, I think that's the worst performance I've seen by any side this season.
They fell to pieces, didn't they?
To be honest with you, I'd go as far as to say that's probably the worst 45 minutes of football at a Premier League team.
Even teams that sit behind the ball, and don't do it well, have played better than them. Like, they, going forward, they were awful. The midfield was all over the place, and their defence wasn't even there at times.
And it's just so sort of confusing as well, because the Crystal Palace squad and the players on paper are a top 8 sort of squad. The side they got, you know what I mean? You got Lloyd Remy sitting on the bench, can't get a game.
I don't think they are though. I really don't. I think they had that one good season, and
No, I'm not on about them as a club, but the squad they've got. Benteke,
No, but that's what I mean.
Townsend,
and they had
Zaha.
that squad, but that all of it's gone. None of it.
The
exists
players aren't
anymore.
performing.
The players aren't performing, and it's because they're still living in the past. But we've got to give credit to Sunderland for that win. Don't get me wrong;
Yeah.
they were fantastic to get 4 goals against Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
But
Palace were so bad that the chairman, Steve Parrish, came into the dressing room after the match and pretty much said, like, lads, come on, pull it together. That was dreadful.
I don't think it... But anyway, he went, lads, come on.
but I'm going to go for a draw, 1-1.
I'm going to say 2-1 Stoke.
I'm actually going to go with the shot. I fancy... You know what? I fancy Palace to... This is it now. They're going to make a statement and they'll get a 2-1 win away. This is Sam Allardyce. He isn't going to accept a performance like that ever again.
Yeah,
I don't know. I fancy Palace to nick something this week.
Yeah.
Sunderland, off the back of that, are at home to Southampton, who were beaten by West Ham. Seemingly, all the players are at Wembley already because they're not performing in the Premier League at the minute. I don't know. It's another one of them. Sunderland, if they're going to stay in the league, they've got to win that game. It's a home game. They have to win it.
I think they will win it as well.
Yeah.
I think it'll be 1-0 Sunderland. Yep.
I'm going to go for... I think Gabbiadini. Am I saying that right? Gabbiadini, sorry. I think he'll show his colours once again and inspire Saints to victory. So I'm going to say 2-1.
His goal last week was amazing.
Can I just make the point on this? And I don't know if anyone else had noticed this, but the Premier League commentary on that game, right, when Gabbiadini goes through, big debut sort of thing, right, and he's whacked it in from an unlikely angle, really good goal, and the commentator had no sort of care. It was just like, oh, Gabbiadini, yeah, he's scored.
No, but to be fair, I think he was trying to make sure he gets the name right.
He might have been. Yeah, he probably weren't even looking at the pitch. He's just down his... Gabbiadini. Oh, he scored.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I was just really annoyed. Like, give us some sort of emotion.
But
yeah,
it's not because he's an English player.
I don't know.
When an English player like Davis scored in the game against Man City for Everton, everyone lost their minds.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Back on subject. Yeah, I fancy a Sunderland win actually as well.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be a goals game. To bring
A 3-all.
3-2 I'm going to go for. Sunderland still can't defend. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, they can't, no.
And I fancy someone like Shane Long, maybe Gabbiadini, depending on if he can continue to play, cut it. Yeah, I'm going to go 3-2 Sunderland. The final 3 o'clock game is between two sides who did win last week. West Ham United versus West Bromwich Albion.
It should be a good game, I think.
It should.
Yeah, it should be a great game.
Yeah.
The problem is for me, West Ham can't seem to play at the Olympic Stadium. Still,
they can't, but of late they've been playing brilliant.
They've been playing really good, yeah.
Really good. But they come up against a West Brom side, really tight at the back, and can score goals as well. So
it hurts.
It's got everything to say it could be a goal thriller again.
Yes, and then at the same time, half me wants to go to Tony Pulis' side at West Brom. He's going to sit there and sit 10 at the back and nick a goal on the break and win 1-0.
Yeah. So 0-0 I'm going for.
I think it'll be the exact opposite. I don't know. I have a feeling for this, and I think it'll be 4-2 West Ham.
I think Tony Pulis will be sick if his side conceded 4 to someone like West Ham.
Yeah.
He'd throw the reserves out for the next game. Right. I don't care. I'm done.
He'll take up smoking.
No, I mean to be fair, he'd lose that one last hair he's got on his head through stress from losing that fourth.
The thread on the
on the cap. It hurts me to say, but West Brom are having a fantastic season, and I've got to say this because everyone will have a go at me if I don't and get stick from everyone that I know back home.
Stick with your heart. Say what your heart says.
West Brom are the best team in the Midlands right now, by a mile. That hurts, but
that hurt.
Do you want to go out there?
I want to cry. And I'm going to go with them to win this. Actually, I'm going to go 2-1 West Brom. In the late kickoff, it's 2 top sides. It's second versus fifth.
The team with the most goals in the Premier League and the team with arguably the best defence in the Premier League.
Liverpool had an awful 2 weeks these last couple of weeks.
We've had an awful year, really.
Oh yeah, 2017.
Well, off the start.
2017 hasn't been kind to Jurgen Klopp, so to speak.
No.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to get any easier. Tottenham at home, 5:30.
I think this game is going to turn Liverpool's season around. I think it's one of those games, but it's not going to be easy in the slightest because Pochettino is arguably, behind Kante and Arsene Wenger, arguably the best manager in the Premier League right now.
To be honest with you, in terms of a manager who's got a project going on, do you know what I mean? When you look at management at a club, you go, I want to build. You want to build a side for 5 years, sort of thing. I'd say Pochettino is the best manager in the Premier League.
And he's the only manager that has that chance as well.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. Mourinho, gets a paycheck and goes. Conte, maybe he's the next one to do it, but I'd agree with what you're saying there, yeah.
I'm going to go 4-3 Liverpool. Goals.
I'm going to say, it's a tough one to call. I think it's going to be 1-0 Tottenham.
I'm going to go...
Kane penalty.
Yeah. Not play well at all and just Kane puts it in.
I'm going to go 4-0 Tottenham.
Ooh, really?
I think they're going. I think it's going to be one of these games and these shocking scorelines that make you go, "Oh, I'm going to remember that." And it'll move them to within 6 points of Chelsea, which is where we're going next with our Sunday game. Burnley at home against the runaway leaders, so to speak. And we'll start with the Chelsea fan before I go where I'm going to go, and I'm really sort of annoying.
I don't know if there's anything bad. I mean, this sounds very big-headed now, what I'm about to say. Is there anything bad you can say about Chelsea this season? The start of it, of course. But this Chelsea side have become arguably as good as Man United were when they won the title 3 seasons on the bounce. This is how good this Chelsea side's playing this season, yeah?
Yes, in a way.
In the sense that, there's no real weak links in the side.
They're playing as good as football as anyone in the world. I'd agree with that statement. I wouldn't say they're as good as a side that have won the league.
No. But they're playing as good as someone that could. Yeah. That has. But, and it was like I said in the last podcast, but this team is not the best one Chelsea's had because the other ones have won titles. So we've still got to see what happens in the end of the season.
Right.
Yeah.
But this game, well, we got to give credit to Burnley. Majority, apart from 1 point, all their points have come at Turf Moor. So this is going to be no easy game for Chelsea. So
prediction.
I'm still going to go 3-1 Chelsea. I'm going to think they're going to score, but no, it's going to be Chelsea.
I think, I think that, to be honest, I think the title's wrapped up already. Just to add on to what you were saying there, Matt, about Chelsea, I mean, normally when a team is doing so well, people start to question, well, if they get an injury to their best player, is that going to affect their form? They've already played a game without Costa and Kante, and they still won. So, yeah, I think... But I don't know. I think just for the sake of keeping the title race open, I'm going to say 1-0 Burnley.
I'm going to go 2-1 Burnley. I fancy this. Tottenham to make a statement the day before.
Can you turn this one off? Is that okay? Can you turn that off?
I don't know. I fancy it. And the final Sunday game comes from Wales. Swansea City against Leicester City. It's
a good game. This is a big game. I think arguably...
Relegation 6 points.
When you look at all the games on the weekend... This is arguably the biggest game of the weekend.
Liverpool-Tottenham's bigger.
It's up there.
No, but the reason why I don't say Liverpool-Tottenham is because both of them are... one's going to probably finish in Champions League, the other one's fighting for it. With Swansea and Leicester...
Interesting in the relegation battle, yeah.
Both these sides could still go down.
They're on the same amount of points.
Yeah.
I mean, if Leicester win... depending on results the day before, they'll only move 1 place ahead, but
it's principle though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got a bit of leverage now.
And Swansea are in a pretty decent sort of run of form for them anyway lately. I know they lost to City, but
just barely though.
Yeah, just barely. So
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna go 1-1. No.
No, I think this will be 4-1 Swansea.
Do you not
Sorry,
like Leicester?
I don't know. I just go with my heart on this one. I think because I've got Llorente.
And
in my
I think
fantasy
your
league,
heart's,
I want him to
mate.
get a hat
I
trick,
think your
so.
heart's red.
I'm thinking maybe my
Completely.
fantasy league because I'm getting Llorente in. So
Actually, it would make sense. You are a Man United fan.
yes.
I haven't actually gone for a draw yet in these predictions, so I'm going to go 1-1 with you. There's got to be a draw somewhere. isn't there?
Stop it.
And on the Monday night, and to complete it, Sky Sports, I believe, have got Bournemouth versus Manchester City.
Guaranteed
at the
goals.
Vitality.
Guaranteed goals in this game.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why they took
Maybe.
it. No, it's not maybe. It's fact.
So how many goals is Gabriel Jesus? gonna score?
I think he's
None.
going to get one. Yeah, none. I think he'll get one part of 7-goal thriller though.
4-3 City, you're going there, yeah?
No.
Oh, 4-3 Bournemouth, really?
No. I'm going to go 5-2 Man City.
Oh my God. When you go 4-3,
oh God.
when you go 7-goal thriller, you don't think of 5-2.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't
you
call
didn't think
that.
about that, did you? No.
I wouldn't call that a thriller as such.
Well, it is for the neutral. Not for Bournemouth fans.
No. Okay,
It's
Dave,
a nightmare.
Yeah, I'm going to say 2-0 City.
I'm going to go 3-0 City.
You don't believe in the thriller.
I don't believe any game that finishes
You can have
with
2-0
three-
thrillers.
Yeah, but
you
this
can
is a
actually. Yeah.
3-goal gap. I don't know.
Why are we debating a 7-goal thriller, even though it's fact that it's 7? Anyway.
I have my doubts, guys. I have my doubts.
You think I should go 8?
Sorry?
No, you think I should go 5?
Or maybe,
instead?
yeah, 9-goal thriller, you know.
Oh, okay, sorry.
This is.
I'll do that next time.
This
Yeah?
is Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I think we should probably wrap it up there before we continue to waffle and talk. David, thank you very much for joining us, as per
Thank you very
usual, lately anyway. Matt Thowney, it's good to see you in the studio back for once.
Yeah, been a year since I was back in Southampton, so yeah, nearly a year. So.
Maybe. Yeah, just about. But we may not be back next week as such. That is yet to be undetermined because we haven't got a specific schedule of episodes yet. But we will be back within the 2 weeks. We can at least promise that.
Yeah.
But if not, keep up to date with the YouTube and the Facebook and the Twitter because there's lots of stuff going out lately. Lots of articles, lots of videos in particular are starting up. I know Matt Ty's got a video in the works somewhere, which could be coming. So make sure you keep up to date with all of that. And we will be back for episode 3 at some point, we promise. We won't just go away again, don't worry. And so make sure you join us for that. See you then.
See ya.
See ya.